Fascism Works: The Politics of Us and Them by Jason Stanley. I'm going to try and review this book, bringing out the salient points of this book. It's a complex book to read, but it's very important in today's world where increasingly world over countries are turning to fascism. What is fascism? This word became famous thanks to Hitler. His politics was called fascist politics, where one group of people were made to feel that they were superior and were victims of another group, which were the Jews. And slowly, all the rights of the Jews and the freedom was taken, and later 6 million over years, 6 million Jews were in the end exterminated. Now, this was called fascism, and his kind of politics was called fascist politics. Hitler, though, came to power on a propaganda that the previous regime, which was the Weimar regime, was corrupt, and that their regime, the Nazi, which was not called Nazi then, their political group, would be above such moral impurities. So, propaganda is one of the key features for fascist politics to come, where they propagate a certain idea. One of the way ideas they propagate is a glorification of a certain race in a mythic past, where one race was far superior than another, and this minority other race suppressed this larger dominant race, and is the cause of all their problems. And it is up to the supreme leader who elevates himself to such a position that over time he even takes over the legal system, he overhauls the judiciary, and overtakes the entire country, and the country begins to believe in such a power. Now, this book has various topics, and some of them are extremely interesting. One of the topics is the topic of unreality, where truth is no longer important. Lies and repetitive lying in regular intervals, people completely ruin the information space, and no one knows what is a fact and what is false. And conspiracy theories are constantly propagated. The minority groups are always against or planning something as if they have no other work to do, as if they don't have families to raise, but they are constantly planning to harm the majority. It is very interesting that in the Republic, written by Plato, he says that democracy cannot flourish in a soil poisoned by inequality. Inequality between people is the reason why fascism comes to power. This point is beautifully elaborated in this book, where Jason Stanley talks about the divide between the politics of the rural and the urban. Rural politics, where people are very close minded, they do not accept a lot of things, they do not accept sexual deviances, they do not accept people who are different from them, whereas the urban are more cosmopolitan, they are tolerant, they trust each other more. So the politics of the urban cities are different, and what happens is, thanks to this divide, and because the large populations of people live in rural areas, fascism has taken a strong hold all over the world. It's not just India, it's America, it's Turkey, it's Hungary, and everywhere it is seeping in USSR. And the peculiarity is, it happens thanks to the inequality, and all fascist leaders most of the time are elected democratically. So democracy is not going to free us from fascism. Now, it is the understanding of what's going on. Firstly, propaganda. Then the fact that they are fascist politics is completely anti-intellectual. They will not tolerate any debate. There will be a slur match if there is a debate. If there no healthy opponent views will be taken, and one of the bogeyman of fascist politics is Marxism. Anybody who speaks against them is a Marxist. University students and union leader, trade union representatives all have this sort of label put on them that they are Marxist. Apart from that, hierarchy is another topic very beautifully dealt with in this book, where one race is considered superior, higher than another, so automatically deserves more, and deserves to suppress the other. Now, hierarchy was an important aspect of the situation in America when blacks were still slaves. And if a black, for example, a black slave ran away to escape the atrocities of his owner, the owner would think that that person, that black slave, was actually ungrateful. To that extent, like the white Southern American thought he was superior, and he had the dominant, reason, dominant God-given reason to suppress these people and take advantage of them. So another aspect of the fascist politics is victimhood, where the majority is made to feel like a victim of the minority. This has happened in Myanmar, where Rohingya Muslims, one in 2012, one Buddhist woman was raped by some Rohingya Muslims. 4 years later, entire Rohingya families in clans and villages were massacred, their houses burnt, and they were thrown out, or they live at the edge of their countries, or they are immigrants in other countries. So much so that the population, which is the Buddhist population of Myanmar, peace loving people, Buddhism is a peace loving religion, but they have been made to feel a victim of the Rohingyas, and they support this kind of politics. So it is, how easy, and this is happening in India today too, and it's happening in America. Immigrants, all the problems are thanks to the immigrants. Is it that fact? Is it really a fact, or is it something else? Similarly, in India today, the biggest problem is poverty. But how do Muslims come in this problem? Why are we talking so much about Muslims in India today? Victimhood is an important aspect. People have to be made to feel they're victims of somebody else, and so only this party will free them of that victimhood. And this leader, who is above everything else, no impurity, even though with repeated lies, is still somebody who will save them. So sexual anxiety and rural and urban, there is a difference between the rural and urban. Like I said already, the viewpoints are different. So as I said, this book is extremely important because there is a rising, and is it's been there. Fascism has not gone; it's come back in a different form uh, in world over. It's important to understand this, and I hope you like this review. There's a lot more in this book. I hope you someday find your hands on this book and try and see it. Thank you.